Hi, Trevor here, Life Reflections Through Music. Thank you for stopping by. Well, I trust you enjoyed my last video on Bob Marley. And through his song, One Love, we looked at love in the world today. So I trust you found that one an encouragement. We're going from there to a duo, although not a musical duo today, a comedy duo. We still need to give these guys a bit of a go because of their influence in the world of comedy. And certainly in 1935, Bud Abbott and Lou Costello started working together in the Eltinge Burlesque Theatre in New York. But they would go on through radio, film and TV to be the most popular comedy duo in the world in the 1940s and the early 1950s. Certainly around the 1950s, other comedy duos were starting to come in with different tastes and different ways of doing things. And so they started to lose the popularity because these guys were victims a little bit of overexposure. Like between 1940 and 1965, there were 38 movies in there and often 2 to 3 movies a year. And so despite their comedic brilliance, and we'll get onto some of their skits in a minute, they were getting a bit overexposed and tastes change over time. But certainly, and these guys were the most highly paid performers in the world during the Second World War, and certainly in the Second World War, there needed to be people to bring a bit of light to the world because it wasn't a very good world to be in at that point. So Abbott and Costello were in the right place at the right time, and so part of my heart always goes out to these guys because just how hilarious their clips are and how clever they are. A few accolades. The Baseball Hall of Fame memorialised these two because of their iconic skit, which we're going to get onto in a minute, which is all about baseball. We've also had Jerry Seinfeld come out and say that he was very largely influenced by Abbott and Costello. They were inducted into the New Jersey Hall of Fame, and Bud Abbott left us in 1974 at the age of 76, and Lou Costello at 1959 at the age of 52. And so, but while these two were together and they did what they did, the world was a lot better for it. We're talking about worldwide influence here, that is for sure. Now, when you think about Abbott and Costello, of course, Abbott was the straight man and Costello was the silly man. There certainly have been, this theme has carried through with comedians. You think of even Seinfeld, Jerry Seinfeld very much was the straight man in that one, and then you've got Kramer and the other guys who were the funny guys in that. We've got Jerry Lewis and Dean Martin. Well, Martin was the straight man and Jerry Lewis was the funny guy in that one. And it just goes on and on and on, really, that this kind of way of doing comedy seems to work really, really well. And Abbott and Costello well and truly brought that to the light and building on giants of their own that they had grown up with. But one of the things, but when you think about Abbott and Costello, what is the comedy routine you think of? Well, Time magazine made this routine the best comedy routine of the 20th century. That's how influential and how well known this particular comedy skit is. And all you need to do to have a bit of a laugh is you need to create some interesting names for basemen in a baseball field. You've got who's on first, what's on second, and I don't know who's on third. And so when someone asks who's on first, well, yeah. And you know what you can do when you just create names like that one, you can absolute comedic magic with this particular routine. And this routine has been cited many times over the years, and certainly referenced by many movies and many people after these guys. So very influential comedic routine, this one. And I think the thing I love about Abbott and Costello, and there'll be a few other clips that bring this out as well. It's just their play on words. You know, we've got who's on first, what's on second, and I don't know who's on third, and the name of the baseman. You know, that's really, really clever. Or 7 by 3 equals 28, but you know, it obviously that's not right. But the way that Costello particularly proves that in so many different ways is hilarious. Or 2 10s for a 5. Hey, you got 2 10s for a 5, and you know, you hand them over, and next minute, hang on a minute. And I think the thing that the takeaway from Abbott and Costello today is their observation of life, their observation of language, and their observation of the way we talk. Not just the way that we talk, but how we talk and why we talk. I mean, if you think about the English language, I've heard it many times from people who are learning the English language. You think about the word there, like there, over there. And and that's theirs. You know, there's 3 different ways of saying there. You know, there over there, like THERE, and THEIER, and THEY''RE. They're all there, but they mean different things. Or if you think about the word know, like I know you. I mean, who would put a capital K and a W? Actually, probably not a capital, but a K and a W at the beginning, at the end of that word. I mean, you don't say canoa, you say no. This is the crazy thing about the English language. And you never really know sometimes. No, did I mean no, K-N-O-W or N-O there? This is the trick. You never really know, you know, sometimes what English language is even doing. But because we speak it so much, we kind of just get used to all the nuances and idiosyncrasies that the English language has. So what you can do, particularly with who's on first, if you make who a noun, a name, you very easily and very quickly create confusion in the mind of the audience, and also the mind of Paul Costello, who was trying to interpret all of this stuff. And I think Abbott and Costello were keen observers of the English language and the way that we speak, and through that they were able to actually bring out some of the best comedy routines of all time. So I think the takeaway from Abbott and Costello today is be observers of life. Be curious about life. Look at life and think, now, why is this the case, and why do we do things this way? Perhaps there's a bit of a gem I can take out. Perhaps there's something I can do and bring out these idiosyncrasies of what makes us up as human beings and enables us to do what we do. Be keen observers in life, and always just have a bit in the back of your head, gee, I wonder why that is the way it is. And you never know, you might actually find yourself observing life in a bit of a different way, and you might find the curiosity becomes so amazing that life becomes a place of wonder. Now, I'm sure for Abbott and Costello, world was a place of wonder why they were popular and big, because they just kept bringing out movies one after the other. And they became, you know, so clever at coming up with comedy routines. Comedy, songwriting, in fact, all sorts of art is based well and truly on how well and how differently and how curiously we observe life. So let's always be observers of life with a curiosity about us. So I trust you'll find that one an encouragement today. Now, I find myself every now and then looking at Abbott and Costello clips, because I just find them really funny. So we've got 3 today, and you know, I'm not quite sure whether these are on stage or a movie or whatever they are, but we've got 3 today. We've got the classic Who's on First routine. You know, and here we see how seamlessly and easily these guys were able to perform and deliver a comedy routine. They were seamless in that, and they were professional in that, and they just knew what each other was going to do and how they were going to do it. They kept their characters really well, and because of that, they became 2 of the most loved people in the world in the 1940s. So we've got Who's on first. So that one's there for you. That's, as I said, Time Magazine put that the best comedy routine of the 20th century. Then we've got 7 by 3 equals 28. Now this is really, really clever. Now this is where you get to see the brilliance of these two as they prove in many ways that 7 by 3 is 28. Actually, 7 by 13, I remember it now. Of course, 7 by 13 isn't 28. Well, it is, unless you're Abbott and Costello, it is. But the thing I love about the clip, he just doesn't prove it one way, he proves it 3 ways. And so, you know, this very, very clever writing, a very, very clever delivery there. And so we've got that one there for you as well. 7 by 13 is 28. And then we've got 2 10s for a 5. Now, of course, when you think, oh yeah, here's 2 10s, and you put the 5, and after a while, and then it just keeps going in 2 different ways, and eventually, yeah, it's just a really, really funny clip, that one. And again, it's a classic way of how you can be an observer of life, an observer of conversation, and make an absolutely hilarious comedy routine out of it. So the links to those 3 clips, now they're actually all live, so you'll get to see what these 2 guys in action and what made them so clever and funny. They're all the links to those 3 clips are in the description below. And I'm sure what Abbott and Costello were trying to do was just bring a bit of light into the world in what was a pretty horrible time of life. And so just like my previous guy, Bob Marley, who's talking about love in the world and how we do that. So there's a bit of a flow and effect today when you get 2 legends, of one of music and one of comedy, how you can change the world and make it into a better place. So if you want to recap on Bob Marley from last time, he's there as well for you to have a look at. Well, that's it for today. I trust, as we've looked at Abbott and Costello today and brought out and challenged our curiosity in life, for those of you who have come back for another one, or this is your first time to Life Reflections Through Music, welcome to everybody, and thank you very much for coming back. Thank you for the engagement and all that sort of stuff. Always appreciate it. Well, we're up to a bit of a moment in this series. Over the last, we're up to 220 odd now. We did start off this series in D, late Ds, and went into Es. And then I thought to myself, well, hang on, we better go back and do A to D. And so where we're up to right now is A to D. We've pretty well, I can't think of anyone I've missed, but obviously there will always be people that you miss. But as far as people that I can think of in my own little brain of mine, I think we've covered A to D artists now. So that means next time we're going to go on to E's. Now, when you look at E, you think, what do you mean, Trevor, you're starting on E? You've got quite a few E's in there. Well, yes, I do. But I suppose what I did is I stopped E and I went back to A. And so, yeah, we're up to E. And we're a good place to start are the Easy Beats from Australia with one of these songs, Australian songs of the 20th century next time. So until then, I'll catch you around. Bye for now.